Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kings of Fantasy Football podcast. I'm your co-host Pablo, and here's my co-host.
Leo.
So, in today's episode, we are going to do a reaction episode to Leo's in-person draft for the Scott Fish Bowl. And for all of our listeners who are not aware about the Scott Fish Bowl, I'll allow Leo to explain it since he's been doing it for a few years. So, Leo, kind of give a summary of what the Scott Fish Bowl is.
Well, Scott Fish Bowl is a tournament. I won't say a tournament, but a league that was started by Scott Fish. Um, he's like the kind of like the godfather of of fantasy football. You know, he's very innovative with league types and stuff like that. So, but years ago he created. We're in Scott Fish Bowl 15 right now, and he started this as a way to form like a community for the fantasy football, to have a community with each other, interact with each other, and also he likes to all the proceeds that go to this league are go to various charities. Fantasy Cares is one of the main ones that kind of go work side by side with that he kind of created, and mainly they do toys for tots, but the different live events that has gotten so big this year. I think it first started with like 480 participants, and it varies from professional fantasy football content creators, and then it's gotten bigger, and then there's fans as well. So now this particular season, this year, we got up. There was over 50,000 people try to sign up for the event, and 5,004 were able to get in. Every year he's gradually increased the amount of participants, but also the amount of participants to sign up has quadrupled or whatever every year. So it's always increasing, and like I said, it's a good opportunity for to interact fans with fantasy football content creators that always the experts that always giving advice. So it's a good opportunity to to challenge yourself, how you stack up with the best in this community. So the last couple of years I've been able to well, for the last few years he's had live events throughout different parts of the world, and last year I was able to do one in Fort Lauderdale, and this year I was able to go to Orlando. And so we start the event. The first 10 rounds we draft in person, and then the rest we finish online. We just finished our draft yesterday, so wanted to come and talk about a little bit with you, discuss how it went, different strategies. Every year, Scott Fish always makes it interesting. He's always changing the rules every year. This year he has the strategy. It kind of it varies because there's like really no set. It's like positionless this year, so there's no, even though you can start two quarterbacks as a flex, but everything else is a flex. So you can start up to 11 players at a time, and then we have a total of 22 on our roster. So all of our leagues are basically what happens. There's individual leagues, and then when it gets times to the playoffs, which I think starts around week 12 or so, and then like whoever he starts tracking it, and then whoever has the most points or whoever has the better record, they qualify for the playoffs, and then there's a whole bunch of wild cards and stuff like that, and then it just starts it just basically becomes whoever scores the most points over everyone else. So every week it starts, dwindling down until there's one champion at the end. So this year they in the settings it kind of favored the kind of like the I want to say like the running back position, because you would get more for every rush you would get a half point per rush. So you wanted to try to the running backs are flying off the board this particular year. You also wanted to try to get quarterbacks that rush as well, because they not only are they going to get points for throwing, but if you get one of the quarterbacks that rush, those attempts are they add up quickly. So you can see when we go over our the draft that I was in. Our my league was in Orlando draft. We had 5 drafts going on at the same time, so there was like 60 people drafting in 5 different leagues at the same time. So it was I don't say chaotic, but it was interesting for sure. But it was a nice place. It was they Rock Pit Brewing in Orlando was hosted us. The kind of like I want to say like the event coordinator that kind of hosts us was Zach Berger. He's very always very how would you say interacts a lot with the community, with the fantasy football community, and Scott have had him here hosting us since he lives in the Orlando area. So thanks for Zach for that, and obviously Rockwood Brewery for hosting us. So, but it was a fun time. We had all the drafts going on at the same time, and so some drafts were going a little faster than the others, so you can kind of see how the drafts, when players might be going, so you could kind of see all of us looking at each other's other boards just to see how things are going, and so it's cool. It's a fun experience. So if you have a chance to do a live event, definitely go for it for Scott Fish Bowl, because it's cool. One of the events that's always highly touted that once the people want to go to is they do one in Las Vegas at the Circa Swim and at the pool. So that's a nice event to go to for sure. But they have it in LA and even in other parts of the world and other countries. So very 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 cool.
All right, appreciate that. So, shout out to again Scott Fish, and especially the whole charity aspect thing is really cool. Wish I could join one year, kind of see how I stack up. Like imagine being in a league against like Matthew Berry or somebody. I think that'd be really cool. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So kind of like Leo was saying, the scoring settings favor running backs, but doesn't mean that you don't want to aim for those skill position players. But starting right off the bat, I'm a little surprised by the first overall pick. Again, considering that it favors running backs, but somebody went for Lamar Jackson. I understand his rushing upside, but with Derrick Henry there, and you saw how good Derrick Henry was last year, I don't see why Derrick can't be just as involved this year. So that's why I'm a little surprised with Lamar being number 1 overall. Did that kind of surprise you at the live event, or?
Um, I know he was gonna probably go within the top 4 picks. Like I said, even though it is like kind of positionless, there you can start two quarterbacks, especially him and Josh Allen were the only two that were drafted in the first round. So I knew they were gonna go. It was just a matter of when. So I wasn't too surprised about it. I didn't think he would get to me at 5. Even if he did, I probably still would have went with running back. But yeah, that's the this particular uh, uh, contestant, Kobe Cheese. He went with Lamar Jackson. Then his other quarterback was Kyle Murray. That he got in the 5th round. So they're both running running quarterbacks. So yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
both rushing upsides.
yeah. So
Um, Now the next pick, I understand. Um, I think this is, if you want to call it, the year where he can finally catapult to that number one running back overall. Saquon and Derek had really amazing years. They got a new offensive coordinator in Atlanta, so the second overall pick was Bijan. Um, I think it's going to be interesting, especially depending on who's under center. Um, but a lot of experts are saying that Bijan should be, the first running back off the board. Um, did you think that, maybe someone would have gone here with, Saquon or Genty or Gibbs, or were you pretty much expecting Bijan to be the first running back off the board?
yeah, I anticipated that Bijan will probably be the first one running back off the board, or Barkley, one of the two. Barkley had an amazing season last year that he rushed over for 2,000. Maybe some might be a little wary of him because of all the touches that he had, because obviously they went all the way to the Super Bowl. So Bijan could be you can consider, I guess, a little bit more fresh. He's younger as well, so he's definitely gonna be utilized extremely uh, heavily in the Falcons offense. Penix will be the quarterback. Um, he kind of came on a little bit at the end of last year once Kirk Cousins got injured. So we'll see. We'll see if how Penix gets the offense going, and I believe as long as Bichon is healthy, he's gonna be a stud in this format, because he will get the touches. Like the saying and this year was volume is king. So definitely he's gonna get the volume. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean he's younger compared to some of these other running backs. Not saying that Barkley's old by any means, but he had a lot of touches. Derrick Henry's in his 30s. Now this next pick was the first wide receiver, and after that pretty much nothing but running backs, and the next receiver doesn't come until pick 9. And of course, this is who people are saying, especially in PPR leagues, should be the first person off the board, and that's Mr. Jamar Chase from Cincinnati. I'm always of the mindset of I prefer, an elite receiver just because they don't get, I guess, hurt as easily, in the sense that, of course, for running backs, they're always going to get tackled. Not saying that receivers aren't getting hurt, but it's just my mindset. If you had, this 3 pick, would you have gone elite receiver, or still gone with the running back, considering the scoring settings?
Um, I can't blame FF Talas for he's the one that selected Chase there. He's Chase, like you say, he's gonna in a PPR regular kind of draft. He's gonna be probably the number 1 pick. Uh, so you can't go wrong. I was gonna go running back no matter what. Here in this top, because I had the 5th pick overall, and I was definitely gonna go for a running back no matter what. Because I figured they were gonna go. These bell cow horses here are gonna be going quick. So I definitely wanted to get one of these guys for sure.
So
That
you
was my
were you were like the draft day movie
yeah,
running back, no matter what.
pretty much, yeah. But you
So,
can't blame him. Chase is awesome. Chase is awesome
right.
too. So
So these next 3 picks, running backs, so it was Barkley at 4, Mr. Leo took Genty at 5, and then it was Gibbs right after. Now I'm gonna pick on you. We kind of talked about it a little bit already. I kind of like from the draft day movie. I don't know if I trust rookie running backs And I understand your thought process of, a bell cow. But I think here I would have gone someone who's already established, whether it's Gibbs, CMC, or A-Chain. So kind of talk to me about your thought process of getting the rookie here at 5.
Yeah, going into the draft, I kind of had kind of the mindset of I wanted to get Genty if he was there for me. I was available to me at this time, like you said, was Gibbs. McCaffrey was still there, and a chain. Um, I between Genty and Gibbs, to me, Gibbs is he's a stud, this and that, but he still has David Montgomery there. So to me, they're gonna be even to me, Genty's gonna get most of the touches in this offense. With Pete Carroll there. That's how he ran things when he was in Seattle. Marshawn Lynch was a beast, getting most of the touches, and I see Genty doing the same thing. So to me, that's why I really wanted to get him. McCaffrey, I love McCaffrey. He's like, if he's healthy, he's probably the highest scorer in this league. It doesn't matter if he's healthy. um, you know, he's had a couple years here and there that he gets hurt. He has a lot of wear and tear as well. Chain was the other one that maybe I thought about as well, but he's also been a little banged up here and there too. So the running backs they're basically running into a wall over and over and over again. So that's why to me you always want to try to get young running backs so you can hopefully they last longer. Once they start getting some wear and tear, they tend to break down a little bit.
All right. Now the more like, I guess, shocking pick to me, especially in this first round, was number 8. Someone took Brock Bowers when you still had the likes of, Justin Jefferson, A-Chain, Lamb, some of these elite receivers. Because to me, if you're going to draft Bowers at 8 when you still have an elite receiver on the board, you're telling me that he's going to score more points than an elite receiver. Especially now with Genty there.
Yeah.
Last year, of course, they didn't really have much. But yeah, that's a shocker. Were you shocked?
I knew someone would draft Bowers and McBride early. Because one of the things also in the settings, in the scoring settings, is that this is also a tight end premium league too. So in the quarter the tight ends, I think they get, I believe, 2.5 points per reception. So they get
Wow.
they get an additional point. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
So
yeah,
that changes
they change
a
it.
lot because
Yeah. So that's why him
uh,
and McBride were kind of like high up drafted really high because they were gonna be they're one of their focal points of their offense. So that's why they both went in the first round. So it's understandable.
that
It's a
explains things. 'Cause I'm like, too, if it's a normal, 1 point, then all right. But if you're getting 2 per reception,
yeah.
that makes a lot more sense. So kind of, ending the round, we had JJ at 9, CMC at 10, then A-Chain, and then McBride. CMC, I'm surprised that he's still being, ranked in that first round, for running backs. Kind of like you said already, coming off a major injury. Yes, he's looking healthy, but you're telling me that someone who is coming off a major injury is still going to be getting that workload that he's had, since he's been in the league. I don't see that, and if it does happen, can he play the 17 games, getting 10 to 20 carries per game and stay healthy? That's a big question mark for me.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like if he stays healthy, he's like I said, he's one of the kingpins here. But he gets banged up a little bit, but we'll see. He's healthy right now, so you'll.
Yeah, I mean, if you drafted already, you're drafting him with the thought of, he's gonna be the same old CMC. Um, Now in the second round, so on the way back, because I'm assuming it was a snake draft.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a snake draft with a third round reversal. So in the third round, instead of being the first person picking first, it jumps back to the 12th man, and that person picks first in the third round. So it flips on the third round. Just the third round only.
Now in the second round, the player that I at least wanted to kind of mention is, do you believe, getting Neighbors at the third pick in the second round, um, over some of these other guys who got drafted later? You have Amon-Ra, you have Brian Thomas Jr., AJ Brown still on the board. I mean, the thing that I kind of scares me about that situation is the quarterback. Like, you have established quarterbacks with Nakua, with Amon-Ra, even Garrett Wilson, Travis Hunter, AJ Brown. So again, to me, that's your elite receiver on your team behind a still questionable CMC. I think this guy's playing poker in my opinion. What do you think?
Neighbors, like he's gonna be a target monster. Uh, like last year he was already a target monster. As a rookie. So you know, and that was with really crappy quarterbacks. At least this year, he does have Russell Wilson in town. That's definitely a way better improvement of what he had last year. Behind him, there's a rookie Darts that he's there, and also eh, even your boy Jameis Winston with his looking for that he's a real gunslinger. So if so at least he has potential to get stuff done. He's gonna get better quality throws. Um, like I said, Wilson's way more accurate than the guys that were there last year. So yeah, I can see. Like I said, he's definitely a one of those top picks that you're gonna get by the second round for sure. And this maybe yeah for sure in any league he's gonna be drafted in the second round, the latest.
Yeah, no, kind of the same thought process for the guy at the end of this round, and again, he's still being, ranked really high because of his rookie season, which kind of Neighbors kind of the same thing, but these stud rookies going into year two, um, can they always kind of replicate? I know, like with Justin Jefferson, he had a really good rookie year. He's kind of blossomed into an elite wide receiver. But, Brian Thomas Jr., do you think he can, replicate that same season, man? Because last year I regret dropping him.
Yeah. No, he what's scary is that he did most of his damage with when Lawrence got hurt. So he really turned it on in the second half of the season, and now he's gonna have a Trevor Lawrence for the whole year. So definitely his arrow's pointing up. He's got some help now with Travis Hunter. Hunter, he's a dual threat player that he was also drafted really high. We probably talk about that later. So that's definitely they're not going to be able to double team him. Focus on him because if Hunter is, which what they've kind of said that he is going to be playing on offense, plenty. That will alleviate the coverage on Brian Thomas's side, and I definitely he's going to be able to to play at the same level that he was last year for sure.
Now, the pick before Thomas, so this was round 2, pick 11. He's been getting ranked really high too. I think he did do well definitely last year with the Bengals, and that's running back Chase Brown. But again, considering your league is kind of for those workhorse running backs, do you see Brown in that role?
Yeah, he proved last year that he was able to handle the touches. At this point in the draft, maybe I would have probably drafted Brian Thomas instead of him if it was me, probably. um, at that point, but
Right.
like I said, this format, when we kind of if you go through the like different processes of how people build their teams, like this particular player, fantasy player, Ian, he drafted 6 straight running backs to start the draft. So he's and all of them and all of them are going to be carrying the ball a lot.
Wow, man. I
So
didn't even realize that.
yeah, so he went 6 straight running backs, then 3 straight quarterbacks, tight ends, and then so he didn't draft a receiver until the 18th round. So that was a strategy, uh, so that
So,
all of us have different strategies.
um, let's talk about kind of the guy you mentioned, Travis Hunter, and then we'll kind of wrap things up with our who we think had the best team. So Travis Hunter went round 3, pick 7. So essentially, he's probably like the 15th, give or take, receiver off the board. Now, from what I've been seeing on posts from Sleeper and other fantasy apps, I think you were mentioning in our other podcast, he's basically going to be a cheat code, so he's going to get like points for his defensive plays and offensive.
Yes, that's correct. So yeah, whatever he does on defense, so every tackle he makes, any defensive, knocking down the ball, interceptions, fumbles, all that stuff, whatever he does, he's gonna get points for that too. So that's pretty nice. So yeah, basically he's gonna be, like I said, a cheat code. I if he I he went right before me, so I was tempted to pick him myself. So this they got me on that one. So, but yeah, that's why
So you would have taken him
I probably would have taken him there.
in
Yeah,
round 3?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I had him there as one of my options to get him in Fields. So he took him, and I just went with Fields there. Um, I at that point when in the 3rd round, Joe, I can't believe myself that I picked Fields over Joe Burrow, but I just like I said, Fields, like he's proven that when he is the quarterback, and especially in this format with all the rushing attempts he's gonna have, he should score a lot of points. And I wanted to pair him with Garrett Wilson, his college teammate. So I wanted to stack those guys together. So that was one of the things I wanted to try to do in this draft, just to see what happens.
So, let's just again take a few minutes. So taking a look, and I'm not gonna go all the way down because I know you had a lot of rounds.
22 rounds.
Which is a lot. I think normally it's like 15 to 16 rounds, for standard drafts. So just from the eyeball test, considering your scoring settings, I really like Team 3. He has 2 good tight ends, especially with your tight end scoring settings. He has a stud receiver, stud running back, stud quarterback. So essentially, at all the position levels, his depth is not great. Um, but if his first 5 picks perform like they're supposed to, I think he has a really good team. Now, besides yourself, Leo, what team do you like?
Let's see here. There's a couple teams that I like what they did. I like Dynasty Mofo, number team 11. He has a chain with Lamb, London, Connor, Adams, Sutton. Like he has a lot of stud running receivers, and even the one that we were kind of talking about earlier with the he's got a good receiving core, Savage. But the thing is that his running backs probably a little weak, so he went heavy receivers. So we'll see.
I
Uh,
just noticed Savage. Yeah, I like that duo that he got with getting Nico and then Stroud later in the draft. But yeah, his
yeah.
his receivers were really nice.
So we'll see.
Jefferson, Nico, and Collins.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's a high
I
scoring threesome right there. So but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think our other teams are pretty evenly matched.
even
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. I think the most project like this week I'm playing Alfredo. Well, not this week, but week one, I'm playing Alfredo around that he writes and he does content for football guys. I met him, super nice guy. He actually hosted us in Fort Lauderdale draft last year. So he's projected to beat me like by 20, 30 points because his team was like projected like 297 points. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll try our best and see how it goes.
Yeah, and then last thing, the guy that went 6 running backs first. I mean, to me, his quarterbacks aren't terrible.
Yeah,
He went Purdy, McCarthy, Love back to back. Um, but yeah, good luck, man. I think it's really, really good cause. Man, I don't know who I would who I'd be drafting in rounds, 20
yeah,
or past like 18 and stuff. Because some of these guys, I don't even know
yeah.
their names.
It was fun. It was a fun chatting with everyone while we were talking a little trash to each other and giving people shit. So it was fun. It was fun while we drive. Within the sleeper app, there's a little chat thing.
Right.
So we were chatting
Yeah.
with each other. So it was fun. It was a good time drafting with these guys. I wish everyone luck and everyone else in the Scott Fish Bowl. Thanks again, Scott, for putting this together for a great cause. Fantasy Cares. And you can still buy I think merchandise at the Scott Fish merchandise, I think Scott Fish Bowl merchandise, and for a great cause. And all you can I think is open donation throughout the year as well. So
Yeah, I'll tag him when I make this post on Twitter. That way people can get exposed to it. I'll just probably do the hashtags. I've been seeing a lot of hashtag Scott Fish Bowl 15 lately. But thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode. It's the middle of getting ready for fantasy draft, so we'll definitely be doing our best to prepare you guys for that. If you have any questions, you can reach me on X. That would be at ArchReaper, which is ARCHREAPR. Please like the show, give us a follow, share it with whoever reposts, get our names out there. Leo, where can they reach you?
yeah, if you have any fantasy football questions or any dynasty questions, you can reach me on X at smooth1074. If you like the show, like and subscribe, tell a friend, helps us to get more notice out there. And I hope you enjoy the show. And then training camp's about to start, guys. So get ready.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Peace.